Yo, Alex Jones, man, dude, what is going on with what's going on with the information now, man? I'm suffering today. I'm suffering a crisis of confidence in you, bro, because I shot a video earlier today because you said something about General Powell the other day that wasn't that you didn't give the and necessarily the whole story. You've been misquoting the Bible. Although your intentions were good, the Bible still says no lies of the truth. So I straightened that out in another video. Now, man, I just today I listened to another video of yours, and you were talking about Gavin Newsome. Nobody's seen him for 2 weeks.
So I'm going to try to give him the floor for the balance of the hour because he's got quite the agenda to go over, and I hope we can get to every one of these key points because I know he's a scientist, so what you get from him is the real facts, the real research. Thank you so much for what you've done for humanity and for my family and for my children personally, sir. Thank you. And I know you've also up front got some news on Gavin Newsome, the 12th day he's missing. So thank you for joining us.
Sure. I'm not quite sure where to start. Should we start with Gavin and then we'll dive into the details?
Yes, sir. Let's do that.
All right. So Gavin's been out of sight for close to 2 weeks. The rumors are that he has facial paralysis, and so basically half of his face is paralyzed. But typically that'll only last for a couple of days, and then it resolves.
And I did, and I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And you laid all this stuff out about these. I understand that you were just doing some guesswork, said you heard from people, maybe partial face paralysis, and you had insiders. And then you had a doctor, and I listened to Dr. Kizner or something like that. I'll show his picture here real quick because I want to make sure I'm as accurate as possible here. But Alex, you two were talking about you got these connections, and the governor hadn't been, and Newsome anyway, hasn't been seen in 2 weeks. And that, again, that is not true. I'm running something on the screen right now to show you that a picture of him was taken at a wedding of November, and your show with Dr. Kinzinger was taped, I think, on the 10th maybe, and that was 3 days after. But we have a picture of him at a wedding. The problem with that is it's coming from what I would consider, and you would probably consider as well, a liberal newspaper or a Democrat-friendly newspaper anyway, the Daily Mail, which is and a British newspaper. You know, your buddy Piers Morgan, who you took to task quite effectively 10 years ago or so, is an editor on there. So, and they took him to task for skipping the client summit. They did acknowledge that after he got the COVID shot, just like you said, he was sick or he was disappeared for a few weeks, probably sick or something like that, or suffering side effects with it. But they also took him to task for calling off that climate summit that you as well said he didn't attend to go to a wedding 4 days ago. Alex, dude, what's up with your information? Not only are you misinforming people, now you got guests on the show misinforming people as well, man. Now I'm wondering, how much of your material have you put out there that we as your listeners need to check on? You had a Dr. Fleming on maybe a week ago. Another thing, you had Dr. Fleming on a week ago, and Dr. Fleming said that he did tests on vials of blood with the COVID vaccine, and he said that they actually did tests. They looked under the microscope, him and a consortium of doctors. You had this man on your show, and this is what he said. I might have to dig the video out and make another video on that. Fact checking you, bro. You were that he did. You kept saying that there was some kind of nanoparticles or nanotech in this COVID vaccine, and then Fleming comes on and he says he didn't find any nano anything, and he said he didn't find nanoparticles or nanotech in there, and you remained quiet on that show, and I kept waiting for you to speak up and say, no, I've heard this, so are you saying that it's not true? You never corrected yourself, Alex, and you were putting false information out there, even about what's in that vaccine. And again, I'm a COVID-19 survivor. But to say that, and now you had somebody else, another guest on, and they were spouting out about nanoparticles, and you just went on like it was okay, and like Dr. Fleming hadn't told you that they tested it, they looked at it, and it's not there. Alex, what's going on, man? You keep saying stuff that either you don't know, you haven't fact checked, and you're telling people you're right all the time, and you're just using false information to combat what you call, or to combat false information, which much of that I would agree on as well. Alex, what's going on here? I'm gonna keep on. The more I find these, Alex, dude, I'm gonna listen to you. But the more I find these, man, I'm gonna start fact checking you, dude. And when you get it wrong, I'm gonna put something up because something is wrong here. I done caught, man, over the last week. I done caught you in 4 or 5 things that are just not true.